Chapter 16, Speech and Karma. How every word shapes your destiny. In many spiritual traditions, especially those rooted in the Vedic worldview, speech is not merely a tool for communication, it is an act of karma. Every word you speak carries energetic weight, and each expression creates consequences that ripple through your life and the lives of others. This chapter explores how speech is a karmic force, shaping your internal state, external circumstances, and spiritual evolution. What is karma? Karma means action, but not just physical actions. It includes thoughts, intentions, words. Everything you say plants a seed in the subtle field of consciousness. Some seeds bear fruit immediately, others unfold over time, even across lifetimes. Your speech, when driven by selfishness, anger, or ego, may yield sorrow. But speech rooted in truth, humility, and kindness generates peace, clarity, and joy. How speech generates karma. There are 3 levels of speech-related karma. 1. Personal karma, how your words affect your own mind, energy, and health. Complaining drains vitality. Grateful speech uplifts and energizes. 2. Relational karma, how your speech affects others and your relationships. Harsh speech creates wounds that linger. Kind speech creates trust and deep bonds. 3. Spiritual karma, how your words align, or misalign, with truth and the divine. Truthful speech purifies your soul. Deceptive or arrogant speech clouds your consciousness. The Vedic view on speech and merit. According to ancient texts like the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita, speech has the power to transfer karma between people. If someone criticizes you unfairly, they may unknowingly give you the fruits of their good karma, while absorbing your negative. Destroy spiritual merit if misused. Boasting about good deeds can nullify their karmic benefit. Create dharma, righteous living, when used wisely, especially when one speaks to uplift, guide, or protect. In the Upanishads, it is said, speech should be truthful, sweet, and beneficial. If it is not all 3, it is better to remain silent. Examples of high karma speech. Prayers and mantras align your consciousness with divinity. Blessings send positive vibrations that return to you. Honest but gentle truth builds long-term trust and integrity. Gratitude multiplies abundance and draws grace. Encouragement elevates others and opens your own heart. Each of these is considered karmically purifying and spiritually meritorious. Speech that leads to negative karma. Gossip spreads mental toxins and poisons your own mind. Lies and exaggeration erode trust and trap you in illusion. Criticism from ego pulls your consciousness downward. Verbal abuse or ridicule wounds others and creates karmic debt. These words return to you, sometimes through broken relationships, health issues, or spiritual stagnation. What you say to others, you say into your own soul. The role of intention. In karma, intention matters as much as action. Even a firm correction or painful truth can generate good karma if it's done with love and a desire to uplift. Likewise, a compliment laced with manipulation still carries subtle harm. Before speaking, ask yourself, why am I saying this? Will this uplift, clarify, or heal? Am I serving ego or truth? Purifying speech karma. If you recognize that your past speech has harmed yourself or others, take heart, all karma can be purified with sincere apology and amends. Silence and reflection. Chanting mantras or prayers. Gratitude practice. Conscious speech going forward. Karma is not punishment, it's education. Every moment gives you a new opportunity to speak with awareness. Closing reflection. Your words are karmic seeds. Speak as though each sentence were a prayer, each phrase a choice between bondage and liberation. When you realize the true weight of your words, you begin to speak with humility, purpose, and sacred awareness. Let your speech be a conscious offering, to yourself, to others, and to the divine. Mantra for Chapter 16. My speech is sacred. I choose words that uplift, align, and purify my path. Chapter 17. Speech as a Spiritual Practice. Turning words into a path of awakening. Speech is often taken for granted, something automatic, habitual, and mundane. Yet when used consciously, it becomes a sacred practice, capable of transforming the speaker, the listener, and the world. This final chapter brings everything together. It invites you to see your daily speech not as a mere tool, but as a spiritual discipline, a way to live in truth, love, and higher awareness. What is a spiritual practice? A spiritual practice is any conscious act that connects you to your highest self, the divine, or the deeper flow of life. It is done with awareness, with intention, with devotion. Speech can be all of these. When you speak mindfully, kindly, and truthfully, you purify your consciousness and align with spiritual truth. Why make speech a spiritual discipline? Because every word reflects your inner state, shapes your karma, influences the people around you, either elevates or diminishes your energy. When practiced with awareness, speech can uplift your mood, heal relationships, deepen meditation and presence, become a form of service and devotion. Qualities of spiritually aligned speech. 1. Truthful, satya. Say what is real, not what is easy, but speak it with love. 2. Compassionate, karuna. Speak with the intent to bless, not to wound. 3. Intentional, sankalpa. Don't speak just to fill silence. Speak with purpose. 4. Disciplined, tapas. Refrain from gossip, flattery, or reaction. Your restraint becomes your strength. 5. Devotional, bhakti. Let your words be a way of remembering the divine, in others, and in yourself. Everyday opportunities for sacred speech. Bless your food with silent gratitude. Begin your day with an affirmation or mantra. Speak to children with encouragement and kindness. Offer thanks to others often, even for small things. Pause before responding in tense conversations. Choose silence when words would create harm. Every interaction becomes a moment of spiritual expression. The 3 gateways. Before speaking, let your words pass through 3 gates. 1. Is it true? 2. Is it necessary? 3. Is it kind? This simple inner check transforms casual conversation into conscious communication. Chanting, prayer, and mantra. Spiritual traditions across the world use sacred speech as a path to transcendence. Mantra in Hinduism and Buddhism. Zikr in Sufism. Psalms and hymns in Christianity. Sacred recitation in Judaism. Chanting of sutras in Zen. These forms of vocal devotion cleanse the mind, open the heart, and uplift the soul. You don't have to be religious to benefit. Even repeating, thank you, or peace, becomes a prayer when said with sincerity. Speech as service. Your words can be a form of savor, or sacred service. Uplift someone who is struggling. Offer sincere forgiveness. Share wisdom humbly. Encourage someone's growth. Each time you do, you become a channel for light. Closing reflection. The way you speak, to yourself, to others, and to life, becomes your spiritual fingerprint. Speech, at its highest, is not about control or cleverness. It is about connection, compassion, and consciousness. When you speak with awareness, your voice becomes a mirror of your soul. Let every word you speak be a sacred act. Let every silence you hold be a prayer. Let your speech be a daily offering on the altar of awakening. Mantra for Chapter 17. My voice is a vessel of truth, love, and light. I speak with presence. I speak with purpose. I speak as a practice of the divine. Chapter 18. The silence between words. Discovering the sacred pause in communication. After all the words are spoken, what remains? Silence. But not just any silence, the kind that holds space, listens without interrupting, and reveals deeper truth. This chapter invites you into the subtle, often overlooked moment between words, the sacred pause where presence, insight, and wisdom are born. Silence as sacred space. In conscious communication, it's not just about what you say, it's about the space you allow between what is said. Silence becomes a vessel for emotional truth, a gesture of respect and listening, a gateway to presence. Silence is the canvas upon which all meaningful speech is painted. The three dimensions of silence. 1. Outer silence, stillness of the voice, choosing not to speak. 2. Inner silence, quieting mental chatter, becoming receptive. 3. Spiritual silence, a communion with the present, ego dissolves, presence expands. Each layer deepens our ability to speak and live from a place of wisdom. Sacred practices that honor the pause. Silent meditation clears inner noise, aligns intention. Mindful walking without talking, let nature speak. Silent evenings or mornings, begin and end the day in peace. Retreats into silence, profound reset for inner life. The conscious pause, a breath before speaking that shifts everything. The power of the pause. The pause is a moment of divine choice. It disrupts automatic reactivity, honors emotion and allows integration, creates presence in the conversation, opens space for truth to arise naturally. Between every stimulus and response is a sacred pause. That pause is where growth begins. When silence speaks louder than words. In grief or reverence. When emotions overwhelm words. When someone simply needs presence, not advice. During prayer or insight. When peace is more powerful than argument. Silence as a spiritual teacher. Time in silence teaches how to recognize your inner wisdom. How to speak from truth, not reaction. How to sense the sacred in ordinary moments. Through silence, your words become fewer and far more powerful. Closing reflection. In a noisy world, silence is an act of reverence. In a reactive world, pausing is an act of power. And in the space between your words, your deepest self speaks. Mantra for Chapter 18. I honor the silence between words. In stillness, I hear the voice of wisdom. Epilogue. The journey through mastery of conscious speech invites us to approach language not as a casual tool, but as a sacred power, one that can uplift, transform, or diminish, depending on how we wield it. Each word we speak carries intention, vibration, and consequence. By bringing awareness to our thoughts, refining our internal dialogue, and cultivating mindfulness in both speaking and listening, we awaken to the creative potential of our voice. Conscious speech is not about perfection but presence. It is about choosing words that align with our deepest truths and highest values. It is about recognizing that silence is not the absence of communication but often its most potent form. In learning to pause, listen, and speak with heart-centered clarity, we strengthen our connection with ourselves, others, and the greater spiritual reality that holds us all. As you continue beyond these pages, may your words be instruments of peace, clarity, and compassion. Let your speech become a living practice, a daily act of reverence that bridges the inner and outer worlds. And when you falter, return gently to the breath, to the pause, and to the awareness that every moment offers a new chance to speak with wisdom, kindness, and truth. Your voice is a gift. Use it with intention. Speak as though the world is listening. If this message spoke to your heart, please like, comment, and share with someone who needs it. You can get the full print or ebook edition of The Art of Conscious Speech by following the link in the description. And remember, your words matter. Your silence matters. Speak with love. Live with awareness. Thank you for listening.